What's up, guys? It's your girl, the Boss Babe Reeves, at the hashtag Comedy Club with Mr. Mo Hill. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing lovely. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.
I appreciate you because you're Mr. Booked and busy.
I'm trying to be.
You got a lot going on. Okay, so you just had a show tonight.
Yes.
How are you feeling afterwards?
I feel good. I'm trying to work on this new hour. Out of this hour, I'm trying to be able to like cut some of this material and use it for some of the competitions and festivals I have coming up. There's some potential TV spots that I might have coming up. So I'm just trying to prepare myself now. Like nothing is in stone, but I'm always, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. It's always been my motive. Yeah. And I'm trying to do it from the front porch, so I always got to be prepared.
Yeah. So you are born in Cleveland, raised in Columbus.
Basically.
Yeah, basically. You're an Ohio boy. How long have you been doing comedy?
Total, I've probably been doing comedy since 2010. Okay. So what are we in? 26.
16 years in the game?
16 years, but I started off as an improv comedian.
Okay.
So I started doing that for the latter of like 8 years or so. I started doing stand-up maybe 6.5 years ago, give or take. Yeah.
All right, so you got some skin in the game. Have you been funny your whole life, or this was something that you like really worked at?
No, I've always been funny. I've always had a big sense of humor. I've always been like silly, cracking jokes. I come from a family of roasters, and so that's always been something that's just kind of, sometimes with comedy, it's just in you, not on you, pause. But it's always like one of those things where like you just kind of got the gift of gab, but you just hone the craft when you get into it.
Yes, okay, because roasting in the family, it really gives you tough skin.
It does.
And you got some big things going on. You just starred in Scary Movie 6, okay? Yeah. Which has gotten like a brand new rebirthing, right? So the Wayans family kind of were able to step back in. Mm-hmm. Can you just tell me how it feels to work with such an iconic family on such a like huge legendary project?
Yeah, so I was thankful enough to get a very small but mighty part in Scary Movie. It was one of those things where I already had a relationship with Marlon, so he kind of, I don't like when I would tell people he wrote me in the movie, there was like work before this point that gave him the will or confidence to put me in the movie. Because to be honest with you, I have this thing with my friends. It's called Just Show Up. And one of the things that Marlon knows about me is that I'm a hungry comic that's willing to learn. And I'm also just hungry in general I look up to him to as a mentor. So he knows that about me. So the fact that I just simply asked to be there, to learn, to watch, to understand, because it's like I'm doing everything from my front porch. So being able to go to a major Hollywood set for me living in Columbus, Ohio, it's just not going to happen unless I'm a part of the set in some production or something like that, or I'm an actor. Yeah. So the fact that I just wanted to be there, he understood what I was trying to do, and he just gave me that opportunity. And from that opportunity, I was able to kind of mosey my way into the movie just through a couple avenues. But as far as
mosey your way?
Yeah. I mean, it was more than mosey, but I was able to do that. But to answer your question, to work with them, it's honestly being able to learn from somebody like Marlon is such a big time win. As far as like, people don't understand how humble that family is as a whole. Everybody comes from a certain cloth of just humbleness, and Marlon specifically, because I get to watch him up close and personal. I watch how he treats everybody with the same respect. It doesn't matter if you're starring in the movie or you're just doing the lights or holding the boom mic. Like. I watch him speak to everybody on the set the same way. If somebody talks to him, he acknowledges them. He doesn't have big Hollywood, I'm bigger, holier than thou energy ever. However you see him in these interviews and him talking about his humbleness and humility, he is as advertised. And for me, being close to him as far as performing with him as much as I do, being in the movie, watching the opportunity that he's given me. He's genuinely the most giving person. Obviously, that family has put so many people on, but I understand why, just because of the humility and the humbleness.
Yes, I watched Damon on, I think, Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought I loved him before. Yeah. But you really get a sense of that just natural humbleness.
Yeah.
And it's a black thing, I feel like, too.
Oh, for sure.
We definitely were raised a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying?
Some of us. In the comedy world, it could be some of us. In the comedy world, it could be very competitive. It could be it could be very like, crabs in a barrel mentality for a lot, especially the OG comedians. They could just have a way of doing things. But specifically when it comes to the Wayans family, I have a relationship with some Wayans that aren't in entertainment just because everybody's so cool, so humble. And they're just good people. They're just good people. Yeah.
I love that for you so much.
Yeah.
So you recently were on Byron Allen's Comics Unleashed, which is also iconic.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience.
That was a super dope.
Like, how did you
Yeah, so I won the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition, which is one of the largest, biggest, most famous comedy competitions for Black comedians in the country. Yeah. I won that competition this past February.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And one of the judges on that competition is one of the producers for Comics Unleashed. Okay. And so she recommended me for the show, and I was able to get on. Yes. And so far, the bit that they posted has been one of the more viewed bits in recent time. Yeah. So that's been cool. But that experience was super dope. That was my first time being on national television, late night TV. It was the first time they were on the new Colbert slot. So the exposure has been, it's a big deal. And just having that camaraderie and just now having that accolade to my resume has been super dope, just because everything that I've been doing has been from the front porch in Columbus. I don't live in LA or New York. Yeah. And so I just like being an inspiration for people that live in these small markets to be able to, like, if you really go for it, you can do it.
Right. You got to put the work in. It's kind of giving, from what I'm hearing from your responses, is like also a little bit of right place, right time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And I think part of the right place, right time is I put myself in the right place, right time. Absolutely. Although I'm doing it from my front porch, it does take a lot of proactiveness and initiative of going into these markets, making a name for yourself, and then coming back home. You know what I'm saying? And I think and being okay with that. And I think for me, being able to do that at the level that I've been doing it so far, my trajectory and the path of it, although it's slow in my opinion, of course we all get overzealous and think we got to make it tomorrow. But I will say the work and the work ethic and the initiative that I put in over the last 4.5 years that I've been like going out of the market and coming back is slowly but surely starting to pay off.
Yes, well, congratulations for that.
Thank
it's
you so
a grind,
much.
You know what I'm saying?
It is very much so a grind.
Now, you said you want to be inspiring. So what advice would you have to comics that are up and coming, or even just aspiring to be that here in Columbus?
Here in Columbus, you got to leave the market. We don't live in a big market. You don't live in LA. You don't live in New York. You don't live in Houston. You don't live in Atlanta. You don't even live in Charlotte or some of these other B markets. You have to leave the market. You can't, even if you're the funniest person. Some people are like, yo, be the man in your city. It's like, unless you live in a certain type of city to be the man, it don't matter. You're just funny in your city. You're in a corner somewhere just funny, and nobody knows who you are. If you have zero exposure to the other markets where things happen, you're just gonna be an open micer. Yeah. So I always would encourage people, whatever that is. I know a lot of people are like, well, I ain't got the money. Where there's a will, there's a way. Come on. Drive if you have to. Be smart about it. I was very strategic about when I used to go to New York. I would go to New York. I consider myself a New York comic more than anything, but I got smart about the system in New York. I met the right people who gave me the master sheet to know where the shows are. Yeah. Even if I wasn't performing, being a familiar face in a particular market changes things when people see you perform and you do well. It's like, oh, I've been seeing you around. Do you want to do X, Y, Z? And then you can start planning stuff. And then you just never know what people you meet at those shows. So my number one advice is you have to leave the market. Yes. The second advice is you have to rep or do this as much as you possibly can. Right. You can't do this only at open mics. Right. Like, what people don't understand is a lot of the stuff that I'm doing up there, I'm recording voice notes during the day. I'm always listening to things. I'm rewatching my set. Like, I do the work on the back end.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about, like, preparation, but that kind of speaks to that.
Yeah. So I definitely do the work on the back end. So when I do go to open mics or other cities, like, I'm always prepared. Like, if somebody's like, yo, you want to do 10 real quick? Or you want to come up and do 5? Like, I don't be like, I got to scramble and think about it. Like, nah, I go look at my list, see what I'm going to do, what the crowd is. That we lit.
That's like improv in you, too.
It's the improv in me.
Ready.
I stay ready. You got to get ready. So,
right, so what do you have next? Can we see you on the big screen soon? What do you have planned next?
So I'm filming another movie. It's called Ohio 10. I got the part for that movie. It is a local movie that is going to be, I don't know what network or anything is going to be on, but we started shooting that already. So hopefully that'll come out maybe sometime at the end of this year, next year sometime. And then from there, there's just what I alluded to when I was on stage. There's a couple TV things that are happening. I don't want to speak too soon yet. I want to make sure that I'm confirmed. Yeah, there are some things happening this summer that until the ink is dry or until I officially get it, I don't want to jinx myself. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be on blah blah blah, and I don't be on it. And they're like, yeah, we ain't know him like that. Exactly. So there's potential of a couple things that I may be on from a national perspective, but as of right now, we're gonna speak it into existence.
Correct.
But yeah, just so far, just continue to watch Scary Movie. Go watch that. That's a great movie that I have like I said, a small but mighty part in. Yes. And then go ahead and watch Comics Unleashed on CBS. You can catch my episode on Paramount Plus. Streaming. Right. And then yeah, then that movie comes out later on this year, and then we have a couple things in the works. We'll see what happens. We're always working.
Now, lastly, how can we stay connected with you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at mo_funny. You can follow me on TikTok at mo_funny, and then you can follow me on YouTube at Mohill Comedy. Period. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah.